Également, Sewenhniseriióhak. I'd like to touch on a subject in this capsule. Again, what's on everybody's mind, what everybody's talking about. The event, well, let's speak plainly. The murder that happened yesterday, July 1st, at the Green Room. June 12th, we saw a big gathering there, about 400 or 500 people. It created quite a bit of chaos in that section of our community and concerns across the whole community. Now we have a murder at that very same place. Now, it's not targeting one specific business. It could have happened to many others, but it did happen. And let's not kid ourselves. How many of us have been thinking it's a matter of time before something like this would happen? Well, it's happened. And I'm not going to call it an isolated incident, because the present atmosphere in this community, it's still a real problem, a real risk for our community that this will happen again. Now, why I say that? Well, all of us know that there are some questionable associations being made within the cannabis industry here. And that's a bit of a concern for us all. So we're going to look at different ways to handle the situation. One of them is, well, the SQ have been conducting an investigation on the incident yesterday. They have a pretty vague picture of a suspect. I'm not sure if that's going to lead to any arrests, but they are going to conduct the best investigation they can and hold those responsible as soon as they can, I guess. Now, for us, touching on policing again, there are some that are talking about policing's not the answer. Well, I'm sorry, but I think that's a little irresponsible and a little out of touch with the community's immediate needs. And because of this incident and others, the governments now are looking at implementing a First Nation policing service back in Kanesatake. I think it's long overdue. There's nothing that prevents us from having some form of dialogue before or after a police service is implemented. But I think, I've said this before, it's not just about criminality. Protecting our children, protecting our elders, protecting our belongings, and also protecting economic investments and even the environment. So there's a lot more need for policing. It's one of the central pillars of any society, is to have security that will benefit everybody. So I think that's the goal here. I've mentioned to the governments that we're not ready to repeat the mistakes of the past. And what I mean, I think you understand. The last policing service that we had here, yes, there were problems. And we recognized them, and we found ways of avoiding those situations in the future. So you know that there are those who are always going to be against policing, and we pretty much know why. But the rest of us, we just want to live in peace. We want to be able to raise our children without fear. We want to make sure that our elders don't have to spend the night awake because of gunshots or high-speed racing in front of their homes. So something has to be done. So for 10 years, I've been trying to get policing back. And every year, the governments, either they had no money or they just don't want to get involved again. But these incidences, and I've said this before, every time one tries to test their boundaries and go a little further by doing these kind of events that we've seen, it's only going to hurt in the long term. It doesn't have to be that way. So it's ironic that this kind of situation now has finally led to the government's making that decision. So we have a lot of work to do. And in the meantime, we've got to be careful. Like, we have events planned. We have one here on the 31st, on the day of our elections. And the promoter is being very stubborn about this, about going through with it. We are going to do everything we can at MCK to make sure that event does not take place, or any other event similar to that. On election day, this is going to probably discourage people from coming out to vote. We're talking about some members around here talking about putting up roadblocks to prevent this event from happening. Again, putting up roadblocks not only for the event, but also for the election, which should be free and open without restrictions. So I hope you understand that there's so many other reasons that we could talk about this all day. But we do need to reestablish some form of peace in our community. And maybe a policing service could be that line between us until we're able to have a respectful dialogue again. Because I know what some people are thinking. We offered respectful dialogue. And I saw what kind of respectful dialogue from the testimony of those who were at these meetings, where because they questioned a certain candidate on a particular issue, they were verbally attacked by others. This isn't respectful dialogue. We'll never be able to understand each other if all we do is yell and scream at each other and not wanting to listen. So I appreciate your attention on this matter, and rest assured that we're going to manage this in the best way possible. So please don't let fear drive your days. At least be hopeful that it's going to get better. And we'll get there. Just a little more patience. We're almost there. Niawenhkó.